So, welcome. I'm redoing some of the Microsoft products that I've worked with. For some of you might not have a running Microsoft package, but you can do the online version, whereby all you simply need to have are the following. You need to have a Microsoft Outlook account or a Hotmail account. You'll be able to say when you're logged into your Microsoft, you can select, for example, Microsoft Word, which is what we are doing in this series. Um, Depending on your internet, you'll be able to open your page and view your Microsoft Office. So this is an easier way of actually having Microsoft Office without the need to install. So with these lessons, I'll be showing you how we can actually be able to move from platform to platform, working with our Microsoft Office online. So this will make your life easier in that you can be able to work with your Microsoft Office, whether it's on your Windows machine, it's on your Linux machine, it's your Mac OS, or even on your Android system. So this is what your Word pretty much looks like. By default, you've got Office 365, which then means by accessing this site or accessing your email, you'll be able to have your Outlook, your OneDrive, your Teams, your Word, your Excel, your PowerPoint, your OneNote, your To-Do, Family Safety, Calendar, even your Skype. Okay, so we just want to go through this. This first part will just be simple. We will be showing what your Word looks like. It will be slightly different from the one that you have on your computers, in that the ones that you have on your computers might not have some of the functions, and you are backing it up on your computer. Whereas with this one, you're working with it using your online media. So when it's done, here's what we expect to see. I'd opened a document before, so I'd not saved that document. And I've been working with 365 for quite some time now. So I can actually be able to save my document by name. So for example, this is for my training. I'll just call this short training. So as you can see, we've now got our document name. And by default, this will be saved to your OneDrive. So you won't have challenges of saving your document and how each element will be working. At the same time now, we'll be able to view the properties that we can have in our Microsoft uh, Word, where if I go to File, I'll be able to view my home, my new, my open, my info, my save as, my export, my print, my share, and my about. At the same time, I've got my layout, which will be home, insert, preference, references, review, view, and help. So all this will pretty much be part of our learning. At the same time, we can also be able to view the number of pages, the number of words, the English used, the suggestions that we might want to be working. So this makes life a little bit easier in that everything you're working with is actually online. So we can be able to then choose between different preferences. At the same time, we can also choose the mode that we want to work with, which is our editing, reviewing, or viewing. And if you've got a Microsoft Office application on your desktop, you can also be able to transfer this to your desktop. So what this also means is if I go to my OneDrive, I can actually now be able to view the content of my my work or the content of every and anything that I've done using my online Microsoft Word platform. And the file would actually just now need to look for TUT training, as that is what the file has been named, and we can be able to proceed from there as we work with our learning. Okay. So some of the things that we then might need to learn about is just how each element works. Okay. Um, for those of you who are quite new to this, um, I'll try and go through each and every area step by step, and as I was saying, I will provide links to other videos that I've done in this particular series and how we can learn as we proceed. So let's get into some of the basics. And the basics are as follows. For simple editing, we'll be working with text, where our text can follow the following. We have text that will be our heading. We have text that will be our body. We have text that will be our bullets. We have text that will be bold. We have text that will be underlined. We have text that would be used in different perspectives. But I think these are more or less the contents that we'll be having. So I'll try and have it as explanations that you can follow through as we proceed so that in the event that you forget or you need extra help, you will start from there. So the first element would be if we want to put a heading. Okay. So the moment I highlight, I'll then have this pop up here. I can select my styles and then I can choose a heading. At the same time, by default, this is our body text. So we might not need to change it. But to see how we get our body text, we can simply also go back to style and then we can see that it says no more there. That then means we've got our text. However, in some of the lists that I've got there, I've not actually put some of the references that we've got. We've got a title, we've got a subtitle, we've got an emphasis, a strong, a quote, an intense reference, book title, list paragraph. We might need to actually look at those as we proceed. We also have bullets, okay? And a bullet simply means it's a list, okay? So we go there, we can choose any of our bullets. So that then becomes a bullet for that particular context. Our bold simply means our text takes a bold look. Our underlined simply means our text takes an underlined look. We've got italics. Where our text simply takes a slanted. However, with the other options that we've got, let's actually have them as they proceed. So, for example, with the book title, let's say our title would be The Lost Shepherd. Might have spelled that wrong. That then becomes our title. So we just highlight it. We go to our styles and then we select title. So as we are doing this, we are simply showing the variations that we can work with our text. And our text will then be used in different perspectives and different views. So as we are working with our online version of Word, each and everything that we're doing is actually being saved as we go. So it gives you a bit of a, a better footing when you're working with Word online. And as you can see, each time we're adding words, our word count increases. Okay. So the next thing we might want to look at is also the subtitle, um, which can be stories from an African perspective, like that. This then means we can add this as our subtitle, which is that one. And then as you can see, each element of our text is slightly different because of how we're actually working with our text and using our text for whatever reason you might want to use it for. So let's quickly get into some of the highlights of our text. Okay, so as we are working with our text, we can actually be able to do some of the following. Okay, we can put a navigation, which then gives us a navigation panel on the left. We can also change certain things. For example, our view. We can decrease our view so that we can be able to see our page in different perspectives. However, the best perspective is the 100%. We can also view our rulers, okay, whereby we've got a ruler at the top there, and a ruler pretty much gives us guidelines of where each element should start from, or where our print margin starts from and ends. So these are some of the highlights that we've got in our Microsoft Word. However, we're still working with our text. The next thing we want to get into is the types of text or the names of text. So by default, we've got this Calibri text. Okay, so we're actually working with this particular instance. Okay, so we can actually type out certain things that we want to view, and I explain them as we proceed. So the first thing we want to have is a font called Times New Roman. We want the size to be 40. We also want outside of the size being 40. We also want to add a, no, we can work with that so far since we just want to work with the font name and the size. We also want a bookmark and we want the size 20. We also want to have a Tahoma and we want the size to be 36. right? And then the size is actually measured in points. So points would be a point is a unit of measure where we are then just calculating the letter in terms of its size. So each and every one of these letters have got a specific size. I'm not sure how we can do it in terms of our normal measurement setup, but we can be able to just see what this does. And since it's basics of Word, maybe it gives us room to have more content outside of this. Okay, so this we want to be Times New Roman and we want to be size 14. Okay, so we've got Times New Roman. We select that one. We also then select size 14. This one we want it to be Bookman. So we look for Bookman. We've got Bookman Old Star. Okay, and then we want the size to be 20. So this gives us the name, this gives us the size. We select the next one, we want this to be Tahoma, and we want the size to be 36. So I'd have to scroll and look for Tahoma, and then view what that looks like. Okay, so that's our Tahoma, and we want it to be a size 36. Okay, so as you can see, each and every one of these texts have got different perspectives and different outlooks. So this is how we can also play around with our text. However, we can also maybe select some text, come to A, and we can actually change the size of our text. If we also select our text, we go to A with the arrow facing down, we can reduce the text size. Same goes for the text that would have increased or enlarged. We can actually be able to reduce that text. Okay, so that's how we can work with our text. At the same time, let's say I've put something that I don't want. I type by mistake, and that is all that I've got. I can come to this point and say undo and undo and undo, which then simply means I'll be removing some of the content that I might be having or that I might have made in error.